Welcome students to the next session of KSET paper 1 unit 8, that is information and communication technology. In our previous session we have seen all the basics of computers, like what is hardware, what is software, what is networking, and what are the different parts of CPU, that is central processing unit. And we have seen the different memory devices, input devices, output devices, and which are the different abbreviations and terminologies those are used in computer science. So in today's session we are going to deal with the basics of internet, intranet, email, audio and video conferencing. So in the previous session we have already seen what is internet. So internet is nothing but interconnection of networks, and we know that for this we will be using the WAN, that is wide area network. So the next topic that will be dealing is what is WWW. So WWW, as it is a common terminology, everybody knows, that is it stands for World Wide Web. And next topic that will be dealing is basic WWW concepts, like what all the things what all the concepts those are required to understand the World Wide Web. So few of them we have listed here, that is browser, hypertext, HTML, URL, HTTP and home page. And next topic that will be dealing today is DNS, that is domain name system. So to begin with, we will start with what is network. So network andre ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ದಾಗ ನೋಡೇವಿ. ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we are talking of computer networks here. So computer network is nothing but it is the interconnection of different computers. So when we say that it is the interconnection of different computers, then the question arises, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಾಕತ್ತೇವಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಒಳಗಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್, 2 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್, 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್, 100 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಏನು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಗತ್ದಾಗ ಅದಾವ, ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವೈಡ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆಗ್ಯಾವ. ಸೊ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವೈಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತಾರ? ಸೊ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಜಾಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ for interconnect between the computers, they have been divided into 3 types. The first one is LAN, which stands for local area network. This is the type of the network in which different computers which are connected to each other restricted to 10 kilometers, 5 to 10 kilometers is called as LAN. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 5 ರಿಂದ 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಮಟ್ಟ ಅಥವಾ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ, ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ದಾಗಿಂದ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ 1 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್, 2 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಲ್ಯಾನದ 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಮಟ್ಟ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಏನಾಕೈತಿ, ಆ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕಿಗೆ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ದ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಟು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ or any company. And the next type of networking is MAN, so which stands for Metropolitan Area Network. So illenagtೈತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the name itself tells us that the network of the computers in metro cities ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10 ರಿಂದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೋಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಲೆಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ the geographical area covered under the metropolitan area network is say up to 100 kilometers. ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅ MAN, that is metropolitan area network, we should have the different LANs present in the different areas to be interconnected. So MAN is formed with the interconnection of LANs. ಸೊ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಏನೈತಿ, ಈ ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಏರಿಯಾದಾಗಿಂದು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಕಾವ. ಆ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಏನೈತಿ ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಏನೈತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್. ಇನ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ MAN. So this was about the second type of computer network. The next type of the computer network is WAN, which stands for Wide Area Network. The name itself tells us the network which is spread widely is called as wide area network. And here wide area network daga ille geographical distance ಏನು ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಜಗತ್ತದಾಗಿನೂ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಕೈತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ವೈಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಸೇ that it belongs to a particular organization or it belongs to a particular city or any other offices. So wide area network is owned by no one, it is used publicly. So these are the three types of networking: local area network, in short LAN; metropolitan area network, in short MAN; wide area network, in short WAN. So out of this, which of the network that is used for the internet? So we know internet is nothing but interconnection of computers, and using internet we are able to access the information which is present across the world. So quite naturally, for this the type of the network that is supported is WAN, that is wide area network. So that is what I wanted to make clear. Okay, in this slide we are going to see what is internet. As we know, internet, it is a combination of two words, interconnection of networks. So again the question arises, interconnection of what type of networks? Whether it is a interconnection of LAN, interconnection of MAN, or interconnection of WAN. So quite naturally, for this, interconnection of computers present inside the WAN. So what happens is, whenever like we try to get access to the internet, we are going to connect our independent system to the already existing WAN, that is wide area network. So once we connect our personal computer, laptop, or our tablet or our mobile to this already existing wide area network, so we become the part of the WAN. So that is how we can access the information present across the globe. And for this again there are different servers which are used for storage of this information that we will be dealing in our next slide. Those are called as web servers. So in short, interconnect is a worldwide communication which is done through different computers, laptops, or mobile phones, and it allows the computer users to communicate with each other across the distance and computer platforms. So here the distance is not a bar, and the device that you use to access the information, it varies. So you can access the information of your same university, say for example Akka Women's University, Bijapur, or you can access the information of the Oxford University. So the distance and the data that is required is the same. And this internet, it was initially started in the year 1969 by the US Defense for sharing the information secretively, and that project was called as Advanced Research Project Agency. In short, it is called as ARPA, and it was basically used for the communication during the war times for maintaining secrecy. And the same concept, it got evolved, and they started thinking, why not the same communication be used for all the common people? So since then we are seeing the advancement of the internet until now. Okay. When we say internet, there are various terminologies that we come across. Say we have heard of something called as browser, we have heard of the web page, we have heard of the URL. So now in this slide we are going to see what are these different terminologies and what exactly do you mean by all these terminologies. So to begin with, we will start with www, which stands for World Wide Web. So World Wide Web, in short, it is also called as web. So it is nothing but it is a kind of a website. So when we say a website it contains the information, and every website has got its own address. Say for example, when we say like ksw.ac.in, which is the web address or website for Women's University Bijapur, you will get all the required information of this university with this name. So this website, it contains many web pages. So all collectively it is exactly like your notebook or a book, you can say, wherein every book has its own heading or its title, and inside it you will be having different chapters and every chapter will be having different pages. So exactly like that, the analogy of this book, we can do it with the website, and every website will have many web pages. Then the question arises, what is web page? A web page, it is a page that is displayed on a computer screen when you open the website. So there could be many pages, there could be like 2 page, 3 page, there is no such a constraint for the website, and one website can have a link to some other website, or it can have a link to some other web page. Hope it is clear that what is the difference between a web page and website. I'll repeat, web page, it is a page that is displayed on a screen, whereas a website is a collection of such web pages, and every website will be having its own address, and that address we call it as web address, or we call it as URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator. Fine. So this was all about the www, and the next terminology that we will see is a browser. So everybody knows that there are many browsers available in the market. We have heard of the Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome and Safari, and those who are using the Android, we use the Chrome or we use the UC browser. So these are the commonly spelled terminologies everybody knows. So what exactly is the browser then? A browser, it is a program or it is a software that lets us to enter the website and to view the website. So that is what is the browser. So hope that is clear. And the popular used web browsers are Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, UC browser, and these are few of the examples what I am telling here. And apart from this, there are many such browsers available in the market or in the internet. One more terminology that we will see is the URL. So URL, it stands for Uniform Resource Locator. So this URL, it is nothing but it is the web address of the website, or you can call address of the website. Say for example, when you say that amazon.com or rediff.com or gmail.com, all these are the URLs. So web address is nothing but the scientific name for the web address is the URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator. And every URL, or I can say every web address, it consists of 3 parts. Say when I say the address of any website, say for example, I'll take the example of the Women's University. It is https /kswu.ac.in. So it has got three parts. The very first part, it starts with HTTPS. So what exactly is this HTTPS? And many of the time we have seen that the web addresses, it starts only with the HTTP. So what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? That we will see now. To begin with, I'll tell you what is this HTTP. HTTP, it stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That is what the long form of HTTP. And difference between HTTP and HTTPS is that the web address that starts with HTTPS is the secured one, and the web address that starts with HTTP is not secured. So that is the difference between the web address that starts with HTTP and HTTPS. Okay. So in this HTTP, we came across different words here. HTTP, it stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So regarding this, we will be discussing what is protocol and which are the different types of protocols and why these are required in our subsequent slides. So I will discuss that when the protocol topic comes. Okay, this was the first part of URL. The second part is the host or top level domain that usually ends with .com, .edu, .in. So in the website address, which it has started with https://KSW, it is the name that is defined by you while registering your website to the web server. And after that, .com, .net, .edu, you can call it as an extension that is given to your website, and with this extension we will come to know what kind of website it is. So we have seen that few of the websites are having .com, say for example amazon.com, and we have seen amazon.in. So naturally there is a difference between when you write it as a .com, when you write it as a .in. So what are these? We will see that in our next slide. So these are what two parts of the URL, and the third part is website name, that is file name or page name itself. So in this case the page name or website name is KSWU and followed by the extension .ac.in. So we will see what that AC stands for and what this in stands for in our next slide. So these are the different three parts of any URL or website address. Hope that is clear. And next we'll move to the domain name. A domain name, it is a unique and alphabetically based part of the URL. So it is like this domain name can be officially registered with the domain register by a person, business or non-profit organization. So a domain name, it is nothing but it is a name of the website. It can be given numerically, but since it is tough to remember numerically, so we are giving the textual form of it, which we call it as a URL. So like amazon.com or your flipkart.com. And these are the different domain names. Those are used widely for any of the for registering your website. So there are different domain names that we have listed here. The very first one is the .com. This .com, it tells that when you say that www.gmail.com, that means it is a commercial website. And when you say .edu, any website name .edu, when you come across such a website, it clearly indicates that it is a educational website. When you come across any domain name that ends with .gov, it is the government website. So for authenticity of the information, usually we go to the government websites and to see whether it's a really government website or not, the domain name will end with .gov. So that is how we will come to know that it is a government website. And one more domain name is .int, which stands for the organization. The domain name that ends with .mil, it is a military domain or military website. .net, it is a network provider website. .org, it is a non-profit organization website. And many of the times we come across few of the websites that ends with .au, .du or .in. So we will see these are the domain names which represent the country names. So like in our website ksw.ac.in, KSWU, it is a name of the website, or you can say the file name. AC, it stands for, it's a academic website, and .in, it stands for, it belongs to the Indian country. So exactly like that, there are the different countries have the different short forms which have been adopted in domain names. So few of the examples we have listed here. .au, it stands for Australia. .de, it stands for Germany. .fr, it stands for France. .in, it stands for India. .uk, it stands for United Kingdom. .us, it stands for United States. So once you come across any website wherein you come across any of such terminologies, you will come to know that that website belongs to which country. So clearly it will be easy for you to identify now. Usually this domain name server, it is the internet address that has the 4 fields, and these 4 fields are separated with the dots, and those are numerical usually. Since it is, as we discussed, since it is difficult for us to remember those numerical fields, say for example, it is any number between 0 to 255, it is a part of this 4 parts of this domain name. It could be like 168.122.5.3. If I say something like this web address, so it is very much difficult for us to remember for each of the topic. So we started like translating this numerical to words so that it is easier for us to remember and identify as well. Okay, one more terminology is web hosting. A web hosting is nothing but, web host is a business or a company that offers space, storage and connectivity so that a website can be viewed by internet users. So whenever like we need to register our website, it has to be hosted on a web server. The next terminology is the web server. Everybody knows what is server. A server, it is a computer which has the high capability of processing and high capability of storage is called as server. Web server means it is a server, like it is a computer which has the high storage, high processing capability, which is used only for the storage purpose of information related to websites. So that is what the web server is. And at this point of time, I would like to tell you one more terminology related to the server, that is client. So if we are connecting to the server, that means we become client that time. So a client, it is a computer which is requesting any resource or any service to the server. So when we type any website or any text or any information from the Google, we become client at that time, and that information will be fetched from the web server and it will be displayed on our computer or mobile. The next terminology is hypertext markup language. So in short, it is also called as HTML, hypertext markup language. This is the language that is used for developing or designing of a web page. So whenever you want to design a web page, you should have the idea of the language called as hypertext markup language. And this is a language, very simple language to begin with for website designing. It has got many tags associated with this. So I am not going to explain in detail what is this language and what are its syntax. So in short, hypertext markup language is the language which is used for designing of the web page, and in short, a web page, in turn website. The next terminology is XML, which stands for extended markup language. So it is the extension or the advanced version of HTML, you can say. And the next terminology is HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, as we had seen on our previous slide. Again, we came across few of the terms called as Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So we will see what is this HTTP. Then we'll start with hypertext. Hypertext, it is a text that is used to give the link between two different pages, two different web pages. So many a times we come across a word or a sentence wherein if we click, it will take us to some other page. So the word that takes us to some other different page is called as the hypertext. So usually it is used to give the extra information related to particular topic or a particular word. Hypertext transfer protocol. Transfer in the sense you are sending some information across the internet, and protocol means it is a language that is spoken by the computer to have a communication between them. So as a human being, to have a communication between the human being, we should have a common language between us. Exactly like that, to transfer the data between two computers which are placed nearby or which are placed far apart anywhere inside the world, they should have a common language, so that whatever the data is transferred by my computer, when it is reached or received at the other end of the computer, it should be able to capture it and interpret and display it to us. So that language of the computers is called as protocol. So in short, to tell you more specifically, a protocol is a rule that is used for a rule used to have a communication between computers. So every web browser, as we have seen that web server is nothing but server software, that means it is responsible for storing the data and giving the service to the clients. And client software, that is a web browser. Web browser is also called as client software, we can say. Why? Because using the web browser only we are able to access the information which is present on the web server. So that is why web browser is also called as a client software, whereas web server is the server software. So these two are required to store the information and to get the information from the server. So this is what we have seen until now is the internet. So internet means interconnection of the networks, those are present anywhere in the world. So that was the internet. Now we will come to our next topic, which is intranet. Exactly opposite to this, it is an interconnection of the network which is limited to certain geographical distance. So naturally when it comes, we say that it's a certain geographical distance. That means this intranet, it is a private network that is owned by a particular company or any organization, any college or any business person. So this is what is called as intranet. So quite naturally, when you want to have an intranet, you can be either within a 10 kilometers or you can be across the globe. Then what is the difference between internet and intranet? The major difference, the basic difference between internet and intranet is that internet belongs to no one, whereas intranet, it belongs to private company or some organization. So that is the difference between internet and intranet. So the main purpose of the intranet is to share company information and computing resources among employees. Say for example, if your company is placed in a multi-story building and you have like few computers and you want to have cost cutting in that, ಇಡೀ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ದಾಗ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಪ್ರಿಂಟರ್ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಸಾಕು ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಒಂದು 4-5 ಅಂತಸ್ತದ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ 2 ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಈಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. So that is where the intranet comes into the picture when you want to have or when you want to develop your infrastructure at low budget. And typically these larger enterprises, they have their own intranet. Either they may be placed in a same building or they may be placed across a globe. So they are like used to have a information interchange so that nobody outsiders can access their information. Now we will come across like one of the application, you can say, of the internet, which is called as email. Everybody knows email, which stands for electronic mail, and it is not totally new for anybody now. Everybody is using the email. So we'll just focus a light on what is email, why it is required, what are the different parts of the email. If you want to send a document, if you want to send a picture, can we send a sound file, can we send a file which is too large, can we send movie across the email? So these are the different questions that everybody will be having. So we'll discuss the same thing in today's class. So email, it stands for electronic mail, and basically it is used to transfer the message to anybody who is using the computer or electronic device at the other end. The receiver should have the internet connection, he should have the receiving device like mobile, tablet or PC or laptop. Okay. Using email, we can send and receive the messages. There is a difference between SMS and email. SMS is a simple mail transfer. So therein you can send only text, numbers, special characters and nothing more than that. But whereas in email, you can send text, numbers, special symbols, and along with that you can attach the file. That file could be any file format, like it could be a Word file, it could be an Excel file, it could be any PDF file, or it could be a sound file or any other file. And these, if you want to have the examples for the webmail providers, everybody knows that Gmail is on the top, and Microsoft Outlook, previously it was known as Hotmail, and Yahoo Mail, Rediff Mail. There are so many nowadays. So these are few of the webmail providers for the email. And it happens that every organization has their own email addresses, like employee@ksw.ac.in, or every organization is providing its own email address so that they can have the communication. This is about the email, and every email has different parts in it. So we will see which are these different parts of the email. The very first is from, next is date, to, subject, CC and BCC. So from, it is the one who is sending the email, so naturally the sender's address will come in the from, and it comes by default. From and date, it will be by default, whereas in the to box, while you write the email, you should write the email address of the receiver, that is the person whom you intend to send the email. And you can send to the multiple people at the same time. You can write that in the same box called as to, or you can write that in the CC box, or you can write the different mail addresses in the BCC box as well. So to, in the box we need to write the web address of the receiver, like whom you want to send. Okay. And in the subject, you need to write the subject or the matter of your letter or email. CC stands for carbon copy, BCC stands for blind carbon copy. So in the CC box also, you can enter the email address of the receiver. In the BCC also, you can enter email address of the receiver. If that is the case, then what is the difference between writing the email address to in the field called as to, CC and BCC? So that we will see in this slide. So as we know, to, it is nothing but to field. ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೇವಿ, ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗೈತಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹಾಕೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸಿ ಸಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಅದರದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಪ್ರತಿ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ದೇರ್ address, web address in the field called as CC. Say for example, whenever you are sending a letter to the head of the company, you will write that in the to, and whenever you want to send a copy for the information to your HR department or your finance department, you can write those web email addresses in the CC. So it is just like for your information, the copy. And there is one more field called as blind carbon copy. Okay. So when you write the address in the BCC, that is blind carbon copy, the address which is been written in the BCC is not at all visible to the CC recipient and to recipient. To address ಅಂತ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಸಿ ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಅವರಿಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಸಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕಳ್ಸೈತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಯಾರಿಗಾರ ಕಳಿಸೋದಿತ್ತು ಇದು ಇಮೇಲ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅದು ಬಿ ಸಿ ಸಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ವೆರ್ ಆಸ್ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಸಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹಾಕೈತಿ, whoever is present in the BCC, those can see who are there, who are the recipients of this email. So that means to and CC cannot see who are there in the BCC, whereas BCC can see who are there in CC and to. So clearly, whenever you don't want to disclose that the same copy has been sent to somebody else, then naturally that time you will write that email address in the BCC. Okay, that is what the difference between writing the address in the CC and BCC. Again I repeat, CC stands for carbon copy. So it is just like for extra information the copy is sent to ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಇಮೇಲ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಿ ಆ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂದಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಡೇಟ್ರಿ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ರೈಟ್ ದ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ BCC, that means you are sending it very confidentially. Only the sender knows who is confidential, who is there in the BCC, and BCC in turn can see the same letter has been sent to who else. So that is what the difference between CC and BCC when sending an email. So, hope that is clear about different fields of the email. And as we were discussing something called as protocol, I repeat, a protocol is a rule or set of rules, those have to be followed so that the computers have the intercommunication between them, so that they can send the data and send the information and receive the information that can be displayed to the user. And there are different types of such a protocols. One we have seen is SMTP, POP3, IMAP and HTTP, right? We have already seen what is this HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So, clearly this protocol, it supports the transfer of the web pages wherein a web link is there. So, that is HTTP. SMTP, which stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, it stands for sending and receiving the mails which are basically in the textual form. So, that is what it is usually used, or it is when you need to send the simple mails, and this type of protocols, they usually lack in security. The next is POP3. This POP3, it is a type of a protocol which lets you to send and receive email when you are online as well as when you are offline as well. So, if you are connected to the internet, that means you are online. If you are not connected to the internet, that means you are offline. And this type of the protocol, POP3, which stands for Post Office Protocol 3, and IMAP, which stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. These two protocols, they support online as well as offline. Say for example, when we are not sure what should be the content of the email that we need to send, then we can type the matter in the offline when the internet is not connected. So, if something like wrong happens, we can correct it and then send it. So, once you are offline, you can type it and you can click on send. Whenever you go online, that message will be sent. So, that is what the different types of the protocols, and we have already seen the difference between CC, that is carbon copy, and blind carbon copy. Now, we will come to one more interesting topic of this ICT, that is basics of audio and video conferencing. And I think at this point of time, when everybody using different video conferencing apps like Zoom or GoToMeeting, you are quite familiar with this video conferencing. Okay, this is usually, video conferencing is nothing but, or audio conferencing is nothing but participation for the communication of two or more individuals, so that the idea or the information can be shared on the same digital platform. So, when it is a audio conferencing, that means clearly only audio can be heard, only audio transmits across your transmission media. But when it is a video conferencing, that time your audio as well as your video information both travel at the synchronous time across your transmitting media. And we have come across various such video conferencing softwares nowadays, that is Skype, that we have been using since very long, and nowadays we have come across Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeetings, Google Meet, Workplace, which is by Facebook. So, these are the very nowadays popular platforms that we have been using for online lectures and online meetings. So, this is what the example for the video conferencing. So, video conference or a web conference, it involves sharing of content live over the web between two or more locations. and visual material is usually accompanied by the audio. That means it is a combination of audio and visuals. That is what the video conferencing. Okay, so using these few of the video conferencing apps, not only we can see each other and communicate each other through the audio, along with that we can share the different screens, PPTs, files and the different documents from one person to other person, and quite naturally, since we are using the internet, these two persons may not be in the same localities. Those could be in different places. ಒಬ್ಬರು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಅಮೇರಿಕಾದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ವಿಡ್ತ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್. And video conferencing has got three essential components. Naturally, you know that we should have the hardware, we should have the network, that is we should have the internet connection for us, and we should have the environment or room, or you can say the different softwares those are supporting the video conference. So these are the very basic things that or you can say these are the three essential components of the video conferencing. To start with, we'll see what is this hardware means. So hardware means these are the devices which are used to have the video conferencing. So naturally we should have a camera so that it is visible that we are on the screen, microphone so that we can have audio communication, you should have the VC unit, or you can say you should have the projector, or you should have a TV unit, or you should have the mobile wherein you can connect to each other. And naturally if you are having the audio system, then it is really good to have the communication. So these are the basic things, these are the basic hardwares one should have to have the video conferencing. And naturally for the networking you should have the internet connection so that the communication is possible. So again, which internet connection is left to individual. There are many internet service providers, and for that you should have the internet protocol, which is the standard one, that is TCP/IP, transmission control protocol, internet protocol, that is used for the internet purpose. Once again I repeat, the protocol that is used for internet is TCP/IP, which stands for transmission control protocol, internet protocol. And you should have the integrated system digital network, which in short we call it as ISDN, and it is then only video conferencing is possible. And the last one is the conference environment. The place where you are sitting should be very much light. You should have ample amount of light so that you are visible to the audience. You should have the better quality of camera as well. Okay, these are what the different components of the video conferencing. And coming to benefits of the video conferencing, if I go on listing, it will be many more than what I have listed already, the benefits of the video conferencing. I'll just read few of them, rest you can see in the PPT. Sharing of presentations. So naturally the same way what we are doing here, that is sharing of the presentations as well as having the communication, is possible through the video conferencing, and it allows the two-way full communication. That means the person in both the directions can communicate each other at same time, and it saves our time, it saves our money, since we don't have to travel from one place to another place. Again, fuel is saved, time is saved, money is saved. So this is what the benefits of the video conferencing, you can say. And expert which are present anywhere across the globe can be approached using this video conferencing. And increased meeting attendance by participants who would have otherwise be unable to join. So with this video conferencing, we can connect to anybody across the globe and they can connect, we can communicate to them very easily at our convenience and within no time. And one more benefit is that allowing short notice meetings between individuals which are located at different locations, and since we can have a communication within a short span, the decisions can be taken very quickly. So it is really beneficial in MIS as well, Managerial Information System, to take decisions. And to tell of the video conferencing, the only disadvantage that everybody thinks of is the security. Again, when we are digital, like the security is again a prime concern for us, and that will remain the concern always. And one more disadvantage is that since we will be doing and attending this at our home place or wherever we are, it may lead to laziness for few of the students. And one more biggest impact is that the lack of interpersonal relationship between students and teachers. That is a great impact that we can see nowadays. And the technology may degrade the received message and sound, say like because of the low bandwidth or the disturbance in the internet, we may lose some of the important information that has been discussed over the internet or through the video conferencing. That is one more disadvantage we can say. And talking of the applications of the video conferencing, there are many such applications for the video conference that can be applied in the different fields. The very first is the teaching, conducting meetings, data sharing, interviews, telemedicines, legal work. There are n number of the applications wherein you just need to have the communication between two or more persons which are located at different places. Naturally, that time video conferencing comes into the play. And this was what about, like we have discussed the theory regarding the internet, intranet, basics of audio and video conferencing, email, parts of email. Then naturally there are like few of the concerns or sample questions we need to discuss here. The very first is why would BCC be used in email? That means what is the importance or significance of BCC? Email ಒಳಗ BCC ಎದರ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರ್ದೈತಿಲ್ಲಿ. The very first option is BCC allows the recipient to identify all other recipients in the list when a group email address is used. That means first option ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೈತಂದ್ರೆ BCC ದಾಗ ಇದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆದವ್ರು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೈತಿ. That's not true. What we know is BCC can see others, but others cannot see the BCC. The second option tells that allow the sender to indicate who the email is for if there is more than one recipient. No. ಇದು ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಂಡರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೆಂಡರ್ is the one who will put the email addresses in CC, BCC and 2. So second option is also not correct. The third option is BCC allows the sender of a message to cancel the recipient entered in the BCC filled from other recipients. So that is correct. BCC ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರು ಅದಾರ ಅದು ಬೇರೆದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಾಣಬಾರ್ದು, ಬೇರೆ ಸೆಂಡರ್ಗೆ ಕಾಣಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರ್ತೈತಿ, ಆವಾಗ BCC ಒಳಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. So clearly the third option is the right option. So exactly like this you will be asked with what is protocol and like what is the long form of HTTP or difference between HTTP and TCP IP. So these might be the different questions that can be asked in the examinations. So please go through the theory part so that it is clear to you. The second question is a computer network which is used within a building is called. The very first option question ಏನೈತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ದಾಗ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಏನು ಇರ್ತೈತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೈತಿ. ಸೊ ದ ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ WAN. WAN ಅಂದ್ರೇನ ವೈಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್. Wide area network we know it is used for internet. That means throughout the globe networks are connected. So naturally this is not the correct answer. The second option is MAN, which stands for Metropolitan Area Network. ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗಿನೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಕಾವು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರಾಂಗ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ದಾಗಿನ ಬೇಕಾಗೈತಿ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರಾಂಗ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾನ್, ವಿಚ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್. ಲೋಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಜಾಗ್ರಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ, 5 ರಿಂದ 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಒಳಗಿನೂ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದಾದ್ರೆ ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಲ್ಯಾನ್. So LAN is the correct answer. Fourth is SAN. There is no long form for the SAN. So the correct answer is the third option, that is LAN. Okay. The next question is a set of standards to handle voice and computer data in telephone networks, providing additional telephone capabilities without scrapping existing copper telephone lines is called. ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಸೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್ ಲೈನನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಯಾವ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡರ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ. ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡೋದು, ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ವಿಡ್ತ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಕೆಲಸ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೋಕಾಲ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್. ನೋ ಎನಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡರ್. That is also long. The correct answer is Integrated Service Digital Network. So in short it is the ISDN. The next question is firewall means. The first option is a software program or piece of hardware between computer and internet connection. That is the correct answer. ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡುವ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಯಾವ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಕೈತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೈರ್ವಾಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಟು ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಫೈರ್ವಾಲ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್, further readings related to the topic that we have discussed today. Thank you and all the best.
ಇಲ್ಲಿಯವರೆಗೆ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸ ನೀಡಿದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರೋಹಿಣಿ ಬೂಸ್ನೂರ್ಮಠ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.